I've logged into my Tinkercad account and I'm going to start to create my Matariki design. The first thing I need to do is actually upload a reversed copy of the Matariki logo and use that so I can trace around it. And the way we do that is we need to come to import and we are going to choose a file. I've sent a link to you as an SVG file called Matariki Reversed, so I'm going to search for that. You'll need to download yours to your computer, so I'm going to search my download folder and going to there you go, Matariki Reversed SVG. I'm going to click on that, click open. I want it to be added to the artboard, scale at 100%. It's not very big. Well, we will let's make it a bit bigger. Let's scale it to 50%. I think is probably going to be better. Click import. Right, so what we see here is my Matariki has been imported as a model, which we don't want the model. So that's probably about the right size. If you're concerned about it being too big, we can scale it. So I think I'm going to, I think if we look at this, it's 146 millimeters long, which is quite big. I'm going to scale mine down. Everything keeps it, so I'm going to make it, well, let's get this right. Let's make this, yeah, that'll do. I think we'll just leave it about there for the minute and return. There. So now I can move this around, and it's a model and we want to trace it. Now it's too big, so I only want it, this is already 10 millimeters high, so I'm going to change it to, I only want it 1 millimeter high, and so because I want to use the shape. Now what I want to do is I want to put it below the plane so I can see it, but it's not going to form part of my model. So I'm going to click on this, and if I raise it and I want to go down, so I'm going to go down below the model. Now it's 1 millimeter thick, so I don't want to see it, so I want to go down 2 millimeters, -2, and click return. Done. So if I now scroll through this, you'll see my model is under the plane, and now it's ready for me to trace. So what we can do is I'm going to zoom into this, but I need to make my LED holder first, so I don't want to get in the way of this. So what I'm going to do is click on this particular model, and what I'm going to do is lock it, and then once it's locked I'm going to hide it, and now we can make our LED holder. So I've hidden the Matariki sign. Now if we want to get it back, click over here on the light bulb, click on this, and it will come back, and I need to click on it to highlight it, and I need to hide it again. Now we need to make the LED holder. And we only need to make very few elements and then just copy and paste them and fit them together. So let's start with that. So I'm going to click on top here, the top view, and I want to zoom in. And what I want to make is a donut. So I'm going to use the cylinder tool. I'm going to drag this out. And the LEDs that I'm using in my model are 3 millimeters in diameter. You can get 5 millimeter LEDs, so you'll need to change your sizes accordingly. So don't copy exactly what I'm doing. You'll need to measure the resources that you're using, and that will become important in a moment. I'll show you. So the first thing I need to do is I need to change this. I want to make a 3 millimeter hole inside this. So I want to make sure that this is 6 millimeters wide, or in diameter, in all directions. There you go, 6. And then don't worry about what it looks like. I'm going to put 6 in here. And then the height, I don't want it to be 20 millimeters, I want it to be 5. 5 is going to be my consistent height. And there is my shape. So I'm just going to center it back over here. Now I need to make a hole. So I'm going to grab the ready-made hole object, and I've already said that my LED is 3 millimeters in diameter, so I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to put 3 in here, and then I'm going to do the same over here, click 3, and I'm going to drag this so it's roughly in the center of this, it's off center, and we're going to use the tools to make sure it's exact. So highlight both of them, come across to the align tool here, or you can press L as a keyboard shortcut, but just click on the align tool, and then just click on the center here and center here, horizontally and vertically, and that will have it in the center. So now I'm going to highlight both of them again, and use the combine tool over here, or group, and the hole has now been cut out of that shape. So if we look at this, orbit it slightly, we can see I've got a 5mm high donut tube, and that's going to be our basic building block. So now I need to repeat that, and this is where again our models might differ. So I've got a 3mm LED, and I know that the wire that I've got means when I combine them together with the peg that I need to make, plus the copper tape that's going to be used to make a conductive connection in this hole, I need to make a hole in this new object that is going to be 4.14mm in diameter. So I'm going to make this 6mm again. So we'll just repeat this as a good way to show you what to do. Again, we want to make this 5mm high. And I'm just going to center this again on here, and this time I'm going to drag this out. I'm going to make a copy of this. So I want to make this 4.14mm by 4.14mm, and if you're not very accurate, it doesn't matter, because you can add more copper tape to your peg, which we'll do later, to actually thicken up the pin that you're going to make a bit later on. So we'll highlight this, and we're going to come up to the align tool, click center, there we go, and I'm going to punch a hole in this. And let's go here, let's go group or combine, there we go. And so now I want to copy this, I need 2 of these. So I'm just going to drag this one out over to here, I'm going to put this one up over here, I'm going to put this one in the center. So what I want to do now is I want to use this here, center them like that, and I want to click on this one, and I want to move it, in this case, whoops, I want to move it minus 15mm. Now you can change the size of yours, it doesn't matter what you do, depends on the scale of what you're trying to do. The more space you give yourself between the center hole and the outside points is going to be easier for you to wire things together. So I've chosen, for the size of my fingers, 15mm. So I'm going to go minus 15. Done, it's moved it there, and I'm going to do the same with this one just to make it nice and accurate, and I'm going to move it down, and this time it's going to be positive 15. And just to make sure everything's in line, I'm going to highlight all 3 of them and use the align tool, and when it's grayed out like this, they are in fact in line, so I don't need to do anything else. Now I need to connect all of these together, so I'm going to grab a cube, and I'm going to guesstimate that this is going to be 10mm long. We can change it in a moment. I definitely know I want to make this 3mm wide, and I definitely want to make it 5mm high. 5. So now I should be able to join these together. It's a bit tight, so I think what I'll do is I will change this to 11 and just see if I can put this in here. That's going to be a much better connection. Just need to make sure, there we go. Yeah, it's looking good. So I want to copy this, in fact make a couple of these, and I'm going to put this one over here like that. In fact, I'm a bit nervous that they're a bit long, so I'm going to make it 10.5. Yeah, I'm a bit happy with that. I'm going to make this one 10.5 as well. So you can always change them around. I don't want a flat side in any of those circles, otherwise things won't fit. Yep, I think I'm happy with that. Right, so I'm not going to try and align these up, I just want to make sure they fit. Again, I'm going to highlight all 5 of those elements, use the align tool, and I'm going to get them all to align together. There. Now, I've started to make my shape. Can you see they're all the same size, all the same height, there's no gaps. The important thing to look at here is that you've got a nice connection between the 2 shapes. There's lots of solid shapes here because you don't want anything that's not connected, otherwise it's not going to work properly for you. So once that's all done, I'm going to group those, and we've now got our first LED connector. And we can now, all we need to do now is make 9 of these. We can copy these, I'll just do 2. And we are ready to start laying out our Matariki LED plan.